Right, we've found them about here. This is we've had people in taking pictures all afternoon. Got as you can see, a lot of cracker crumbs everywhere. These plastic wrappers. If we can get pictures of the plastic wrappers and then bag them up, everyone.
Yep.
A few slightly rubbery yellow particles here and there. Yeah. It's been getting dark early, and I noticed that they have erected the decorative festive spike.
The festive spike does seem to be in effect.
Yeah, I think what we've got a case here is that I think they've overdosed on recreational cheeses.
Oh, you hate to see it.
You ate to see. Nice one. Yeah, they'll be fine, but yeah, if we can just get this all bagged up, yeah, right. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast for two queer trans ladies having a bit of a catch-up about our weeks and doing silly skits and voices. And occasionally you might hear fireworks in the background of this episode.
Because it's a week after Bonfire
Yeah,
Night. So...
Bonfire Night was a week ago, therefore it's still firework time.
Naturellement.
Yeah, I saw someone on social media the other week being like, "Oh, I didn't know I thought the fireworks were about something else. Your firework day is on this day, isn't it?" So,
That is the day, indeed.
American friend, yes, that is the day. That does not mean they are restrained to that day.
You forget that the British are basically arsonists.
We do nothing with fireworks. There's 90% of the year where they just don't exist for us, and then infinity fireworks for a week.
Let's burn stuff.
Let's throw a fake person on a fire.
Put a fake person on a fire. I mean, is it Lose that every year does the big firework thing where they burn like tons of people in effigy and
Yeah, it's England's wild.
pretty wild.
But you know what else is wild? We've played things this week. Should we talk
You've had
about
a wild
this?
week of non-stop gaming.
Oh, I'm so tired this week.
He's very tired.
I don't get to have a nap after recording today because I've got more video gaming work to do. Because new video game consoles. So yeah, we had the Xbox Series X recently. Clearly very powerful machine. Mostly backwards compatible stuff to play on it. The quick resume is nice. It's behind the folding screen.
It's like, what's the PlayStation?
Yeah, so I have spent the last week or so playing the PlayStation 5. Yeah, I have a PlayStation 5. It arrived the day after we recorded the last Quoops episode. It's not due out for like another week and a bit in the UK. I actually had some new games to play on this one. That was fucking remarkable.
That was nice, I guess.
That was nice to have stuff to play that wasn't just remasters but shiny. So I guess I'll start with the console itself. It's fucking huge.
It is. And it looks like a fucking
It's a huge network router.
Yeah.
The Series X looks tiny by comparison, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's a chunky, very heavy box.
It's a chunky, very heavy box, but by being like shorter and like wider, it's not so large in any one direction.
Where is that?
It's the PS5 feels like it takes up more space.
Yeah, because I thought that looked like some weird monolith when we got it, but now
Yeah.
now the PlayStation 5 is just a larger, weirder monolith.
Yeah, it's big, it's heavy. I recommend putting it upright if possible, because sideways, the stand doesn't really clip to it or anything. It just places under it and it's held in place by its own weight.
I thought you were supposed to screw it.
Oh, you do for having it upright, but if you have it horizontal, you just kind of place the stand under it, and
okay.
which is fine. But if you move the console at all while it's horizontal, the stand might not move with it, and it's not great. It's more stable when it's screwed in and upright.
So there you go, screw it.
Screw it indeed. I've been playing a bunch of games. I was going to talk about the controller, but I feel like the best way to talk about that is to talk about Astro's Playroom, which is the
Makes sense.
pack-in game that comes with every PlayStation 5.
Remember packing games?
Yeah, this is like a very... this feels very Nintendo. You know how Nintendo is like, we put some new tech in our gaming device, and we've included a packing game that shows off all the cool shit that we think it can do, that we don't know if anyone else will ever bother with. It's one of those. but like a very love letter to PlayStation kind of one. If you've never played an Astro game before, Astro Bot is a little PlayStation 3D platforming mascot that was in a fantastic VR game a couple of years ago. Little adorable robot. This packing game, it's a 3D platformer. You run around a bunch of worlds that are based on, like, this one's in the cooling system of the PS5, this one's in the SSD, and there's things going by really fast. You collect a bunch of hidden puzzle pieces that you can make these murals with. You collect little bits of PlayStation history to keep in a little museum. You come across little robots dressed up like PlayStation characters acting out PlayStation things. It's very cute and it's very adorable.
Oh, I like the little animals.
The little robot animals are super cute.
They're so cute.
That little robot cat in the little grassy field
The
was
little
very
robot
cute.
cat, the little robot seagulls with the little
Oh,
fans
yeah.
in their wings.
It's about 5 hours long, and I highly recommend playing through it and making it the first thing you play on the PS5 because, like, it is a very good showcase of what the new controller can do. It's got the controller's got a couple of features. There is haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, both of which are features that can be turned off entirely on a system level if they are accessibility issues for you. Basically, haptic feedback is basically the same thing that Nintendo was calling HD Rumble on the Switch. The fancy high fidelity rumble. And
Isn't HTC like the more recent version of the HTC?
Yep, they've got it. To varying degrees, and the adaptive triggers are basically triggers that will sometimes change the level of resistance on them to feel like different things.
I got to play with that. That was weird.
It's weird, right?
It's like it because when there's nothing happening with it, it's just like this is a normal pulley trigger, like any other pulley trigger. But sometimes it's almost like the GameCube controller where you've got that last little click.
Yeah, it's the sort of like pull and then click feeling.
But the fact that that's exactly the same controller, just like
it's wild. So just side note, I keep playing different games, and like every now and then the triggers will do something different, and I go, oh! Every time that a trigger does something I'm not expecting, a week in, I'm still not over the giddiness of I'm turning that puzzle piece and it's doing a sort of clicky like clunk as I turn the puzzle piece in my trigger. So yeah, I'll talk about the haptic feedback first. Really, really good. It is the best execution of haptic feedback as a thing I have ever experienced.
It's the only experience of haptic feedback I've experienced.
I have experienced a couple of different takes on it in the past. This is the best one I've experienced. It basically feels like there are lots of points of origin that vibration can feel like it's coming from. And the vibration can feel differing intensities and can feel like it's moving around the controller.
Like when you've got a bunch of little Astro Bots in there.
Yeah, you're just rolling around, and the more the harder you turn it, the more they sort of tumble.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. So like it's hard to describe some of the specific effects it does. One of the easier to describe ones, falling from a height into a big into the ocean, and there's a big splash. The vibration starts at the middle of the controller very strong and then sort of like ripples out to the edges and gets less strong of a vibration as it makes its way out. It ripples like a wave happening. You get Astro's little footsteps when running around, and they feel different depending on what material you're stood on. So like wood is a bit more of a dull thud with the footsteps. Metal is a bit more of a sort of quick tinny feeling. When you do an ice skating, you can do a jump and do a little pirouette in the air, and in the middle of the controller, by moving the vibration, it makes it feel like there is like a momentum doing a spin in the middle of the controller.
Wow.
It's wild. The triggers... Oh, actually, one more on the haptics that I need to mention. Rain falling on you. There's a bit where you get a little umbrella hat over you and it's raining, and it feels like little tiny bits are hitting the controller in all different points across it. It's wild. The triggers in Astro's Playroom are used for a bunch of different things. If you are doing a bow and arrow, it'll sort of get tougher as it goes, and the controller will sort of creak with the sound of the stretched bowstring. At one point, I had a little minigun shooting little ball pit balls, and every time it shot a projectile, there was a little bit of recoil on the trigger, like sort of. At one point, I was. The most interesting use of the triggers in Astro Bot is there's this big machine with all those plastic balls in it.
Gacha machine.
Like gacha machine. And the two triggers were doing two different sensations. The left trigger was you could pull it a little way easily, and then the sort of arm you had to pull down on the machine would sort of get stuck, and you had to pull past it to like ka-chunk down the handle. And in the other side, you had the ball, and it would initially be quite tough as you're trying to crush this ball, quite tough tension. And then when the ball shatters, suddenly all the resistance is gone and it closes really easily and the trigger goes down really easily. And you're doing these two different sensations back and forth with your two different triggers. And that was like the thing that I couldn't get over how cool it felt. Yeah, Astro Bot would be a good 5-hour game even without these features. Like, if you've got to turn these features off for accessibility reasons, it is still a 5-hour long, really cute, adorable, very, very PlayStation love letter 3D platformer.
You're going to tell us about the PS Plus thing?
Oh, yes, I was going to get around to that. So, one of the things that you can do with PS5, in terms of the user interface, is you can bring up, by pressing the home button just once, you can bring up these little cards, and they'll give you information that's something like, you found 33% of the collectibles in this level, and here's a trophy challenge you might want to do, and here's what you'd have to do for it. If you have PlayStation Plus, which is PlayStation's play with others online and get some free games thing, you can pull up little hint videos that will specifically show you how to, let's say, like, I've got 33% of the collectibles in this level. Where's one I've missed? It'll bring up a little video going, here, go do this, and that's where you'll find one. Those videos are great. I love them as a, like, I have hoovered through the level looking everywhere I can and found all the ones I can, and now there's like 2 left I can't find and I'm annoyed by it. Great for that. Does suck that it's hidden behind a paywall, because it would be really nice as an accessibility feature.
Yes.
Also, on the note of Astro, and this will sort of move me into the next game, really fast loading speeds to just like hop between different, to like fast hop between levels, and to use those cards to be like, oh, I've nearly done that level's collectibles, I'll just hop over to that one. PlayStation 5 games that are like designed for PlayStation 5 load real fucking fast. The console doesn't have quick resume or anything like that, like the Xbox has.
Doesn't really feel like it needs it.
No, like Miles Morales Spider-Man, which is the next one I'm going to get to, that has really ridiculous load times. You can go from the main menu of the PS5 to playing Spider-Man in 7 seconds. Fast travel within the world takes under a second, I think. It's just black screen, unblack screen, there we are. So yeah, I played through a bunch of Miles Morales Spider-Man. It uses the same open world map from the PS4 Spider-Man, except now you're playing as Miles Morales, who was sort of set up in the original game a little bit. It's a shorter experience than the original game. I would say probably 10 to 12 hours to do the main story, plus, you know, if you want to be a completionist and go mop up all the other stuff on the open world to unlock the other suits, which I'm probably going to do when I have time. It's real fun to just be in that world. I really love that Miles is less of a cop than Peter Parker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, not once in Miles Morales have I been instructed by the game to go just beat up some people selling drugs to each other.
Yeah, I think the only exception to the Spider Cop thing I noticed was right near the beginning when there's those escaped convicts from the raft.
Indeed, but the raft... The implication was very much these are violent criminals who are being taken back to the raft because they are, like, they have done very dangerous violent crimes.
I don't know Spider-Man law.
The raft is, like, super villain jail. It is, you are actively dangerous for violent crime purposes. Which, like, I don't feel bad about criminals from the raft specifically. But, like, Miles' whole thing is, I've got an app. I set up a local app. Just, people in my local neighborhood, tell me what problems you got going on that you need help with. Like, go help solve the local string of bodega robberies, and go...
They rob those bodegas.
Yeah, and go help the homeless shelter whose water isn't working.
Find somebody's cat.
Yeah, it feels a lot more like, I have superpowers, what do the people in my community actually need from me from that? A lot less interaction with cops, and the times he does interact with cops are much more, there is an ongoing violent crime. There is an arms deal. There is an armed robbery. There are guns involved. Can you come help us?
Yeah.
But like he feels so much less cop, and he feels a lot more like he feels a lot more like Someone put it really well, and I don't remember who I saw say this, but it nails it. He is your local friendly
friendly neighborhood.
I can't do words. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yes.
Like Peter Parker is not. He's like, I'm going to swing all around New York, like solving all the top level crimes. Miles Morales is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's there for you. Everyone knows him. He's lovely.
He really is.
Yeah.
Like, there's one bit on that. I don't know if it's like right at the start of the game, but like when you do that opening menu bit, I only know it from editing the video. There's a bit where Miles is getting off a train, and he's like sitting there, like looking at his phone, waiting to get to his stop. And he gets to his stop. The doors open. A couple of people get off. He looks behind him to let someone go in front of him, and then he does like a check around the carriage for anyone who might need assistance getting off.
Yes,
before getting off the train. I was like, he's a good lad.
Yeah, it is literally the first thing you see in the game, and I'm like, that sets the tone for like. That's who this Spider-Man is. Also, I love the fact that they don't try and be like actual Spider-Man and second Spider-Man. Like, this is very much a story of no, you're both.
A tale of two spiders.
A tale of two spiders. I like that it was very much Miles' story. It didn't feel like he was tacked onto Peter's story. It doesn't feel like a rushed, like, here's a quick little thing we threw on. It feels like a full, complete story. Yeah. That is just a bit more condensed, and honestly, I kind of like that. I was
going through the footage, looking for some nice pictures of the Spider-Men together. Yeah. Because I thought that'll make a nice thumbnail, like both Spiders-Man together, whichever one of those is correct grammatically. Seeing both of them like together, but in every single shot where they're together, it looks like Peter is like, I am the proper Spider-Man, and here is my sidekick.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of the thing, because it's set while Miles is still very much learning, and like it's not a spoiler to say like the very starting premise is this is Peter's first time leaving Miles alone to be like, you are Spider-Man. You can look after this for a bit. And it's really nice comparing that starting sort of imbalance to Miles feels more like a fuller, grander character by the end, because he's had to fill in that space. Yeah. It's real good. Miles Morales Spider-Man, it's got two different graphics settings. You can either prioritize like ray tracing and native 4K and all the visual bells and whistles, or you can prioritize 60 frames a second. I swapping from 30 frames a second, ray tracing whatnot to 60 frames a second. I was like, forget about ray tracing. I like 60 frames a second. Fast Spider-Man.
Spider-Man even when you're playing in the Spider-Verse suit.
Even in the Spider-Verse suit. But that makes it even like the world moves at 60 frames a second and the suit moves at 24 frames a second, and the contrast is great. Yeah. Miles Morales Spider-Man, like, well worth playing at launch. I played some other things. I played a bit of Spider-Man Remastered, which comes with Spider-Man Miles Morales, I believe the Ultimate Edition on PS5. They changed Peter Parker's face so he looks more like Tom Holland from the Marvel movies. You get some extra costumes, otherwise it's the PS4 game but with fancy graphics and or 60 frames a second. It's very nice at 60 frames a second. It's got all the accessibility stuff that is in Miles Morales. Miles Morales has a bunch. It's not quite on the level of The Last of Us 2, but it has a bunch of The Last of Us.
It's got that vibe to it.
It's going in that direction, particularly stuff like the high contrast settings where you can have Miles is in one colour, enemies are in this colour, tougher enemies are in this colour, bosses are in this colour.
Yeah, it's almost there with that, because obviously, again, I was sitting there doing the footage for that, so I had, like, side-by-side comparisons of, here is The Last of Us, like, things that are far away are quite dark, deliberately to take the focus off them, and then you've got your character in blue, enemies in red, whereas with this, it was like, value-wise, there is not a huge amount of difference in a lot of the background stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got things like, you've got your main character, obviously you can change your hero colour, you can change your enemy colour. But then, like, specifically for the footage you sent me, there's VR Spider-Man.
Yes.
in that sort of like fuzzy VR mode that's completely unaffected by all of this because he's some kind of background sprite.
Yeah, he's not an interactable character, therefore they don't highlight him in the combat scene.
But he's also not grey like everything else that is
Yeah.
going on at that time. So it's a little bit like, that feels like a...
It feels like a first step into doing the thing. And
Oh,
honestly,
100%. Like, I'm glad
Yeah.
they're making the steps.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I agree. It's not quite as...
there are some things they could polish for next time, but I am so glad that they've done that.
100%. Yeah.
Like there's accessibility based vibration setting where it will do special types of vibration to warn you things like it's time to dodge. And that's like such an interesting use of that high fidelity rumble, being able to be like, there is a specific feeling I will feel in my controller that I will know that's the thing for dodge. And that's different from all the other vibrations I'm going to feel based on its position and its intensity.
It'd be nice to see them do something like that with, say, Dark Pictures Anthology.
Yeah.
Where there's a vibration for, hey, we're going to make you do a QuickTime event.
Yeah.
Or a particular type of QuickTime event.
But yeah, my point being, all of that new accessibility stuff is in Spider-Man Remastered. I don't know if it's if it's been patched into the original PS4 game, but
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. What else did I play? I played a bunch of stuff on PS5 this week.
You did?
I played some Bugsnax.
Strawberry!
So I've played a decent amount of Bugsnax now. I feel like I'm coming close to the end.
Yeah.
It's basically Pokemon Snap if you had to catch the Pokemon afterwards. You are tossed on a mysterious island. The person you were meant to be interviewing about this island of Bugsnax has vanished. Go get all the villagers back home to rebuild the little village and collect clues along the way as to like, where's this person gone?
Some of them are quite obnoxious.
Yeah, they're all very... Here's the thing, they all grow more endearing over time, but some of them start very... there are some personality clashes.
What's the name of the Valley Girl one?
It's like Rebecca or something.
It's like Rebecca-ny or something.
Rebecca-ny, yeah. It's some kind of like stereotypical girls' names mashed together.
Yeah.
God, she's terrible. She's fantastic. She's terrible.
Yeah, like it was very cute to watch. It definitely has been captured quite well in the trailers you've seen.
Yeah.
The only thing I think I would say about it is because they do the Pokemon thing, and something that you don't see in the Pokemon games,
Yeah.
they all say their own names. And in a walk-around 3D world, if you're being followed by a candy fly, or you're trying to catch a candy fly, you're probably just going to hear, candy fly, candy fly, candy fly,
Yeah,
candy fly,
they
candy
probably
fly."
don't need to say their names quite as often as they do. Can we have a slider to turn down the frequency with which the names are said?
Yes, I needed to find a candy fly. I found one.
Yes.
Now, if you could just leap into my trap, because I really
Indeed.
can't be asked to listen to you anymore.
The general idea is you point your camera at them, you take a photo, you get some more information, basically your Pokedex information. The trigger feels like a camera shutter and it's great.
Yay.
And then you can sort of see the path that they're going to follow, and the ways that you catch them in traps are things like, some might like ketchup, so maybe you cover your trap in ketchup to lure them over. Maybe this one is like a little popcorn kernel and you've got to put some chili sauce on it so another Bugsnax will attack it and pop it into actual popcorn, and then you can catch it because it's too fast when it's a little one. Most of your quests are go find X number of these Bugsnax and bring them to me so that I will come back to the town.
And I will eat them.
Yeah, it's a somewhat repetitive loop, but the fact that you never need to catch the same Bugsnax more than 4 or 5 times, probably, and then it moves on to like, and here's another Bugsnax, and there's like 100+ of them in this 10-hour game. There's enough to keep it feeling fresh until it finishes. A lot of it is very funny, a lot of it is very sweet. There are moments that are like somber and emotional that I hadn't really anticipated. Like the game, there's a fairly early scene where you discover a character was battling some pretty hard depression, and then you go back to trying to catch a pina colada that jumps out of a pool of water, or a crab that's made of apples. It's a crab apple. It's charming, it's adorable. It's not putting the PS5 to its paces, like, technically, but it's It's a cute way to spend 10 hours. It's a charming little game, and all the characters are very personality filled.
Yeah.
I had a good time with Bugsnax. Sorry that I'm just like raffling off games.
Go.
We'll get them out. We'll get them
Raffling
out.
off games. Cool. I will buy a ticket for these games, please. I'll sell them in seconds.
Yeah, I played Bright Memory.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I watched you play that end to end.
Yes. What did I play? But that was Xbox, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
Xbox,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll do that. We'll do that at the end then. I've played too many games. I forget what I played on what. The only other one that I've played on PS5 this week is Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Not a little big adventure.
No, it's a big adventure. It's a big adventure for Sackboy. So, I mean, I've played very little of this, but it is a 3D platformer. The visual style is very impressive. It's one of the more technically impressive games on the PS5, just in terms of it's not trying to be photorealistic. It's doing the thing that, say, Yoshi's Crafted World or Kirby's Woolly World did, where it's all about texture effects of simple, colourful environments, but like, oh, this thing's made out of cardboard and this thing's made out of felt, and it's using the PS5 to be like, look at all the fucking fibres coming off of this fabric, lad.
Question. Have they managed to improve in any way on Mario Party's watermelon texture?
This is better than the watermelon texture.
shit.
I know.
It's such a good texture.
Yeah, in the cutscenes for this, and to an almost as much degree during the gameplay, it is probably the video game I've played that most achieves the trying to look like a CGI film thing. I would put it up there with like last generation Kingdom Hearts in terms of like, oh, that's a full-on CG, that's CG film levels of visual quality you've got here in a thing that's rendering in real time. It looks real fucking impressive.
Was Kingdom Hearts Xbox or PlayStation?
It used to be PlayStation only, now it's on both.
I'm trying to remember what you were looking at.
I was playing it on PlayStation.
Then we can discuss this briefly.
Yes.
The textures in that were nice.
The textures in that were nice.
I didn't know 99% of what was going on there.
Yeah, but it visually looked like, oh, that's very fancy visuals.
That's multiple Kingdom Heartses.
Yeah.
Kingdoms
I mean, I'll say this. I don't know why anyone would play Sackboy at the PS5 launch, and it's not because it's not a well-made game, but in a console launch that already has Astro Bot packed into the console, having played through Astro's Playroom, I couldn't help but compare Sackboy, and I was like, why can't I feel my footsteps when I'm running around?
Yeah.
Why when I pull on this thing is the trigger not doing anything?
But Sackboy's first party, right?
Both of them are first party.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. It's two first party, third person, 3D platformer properties at launch, and one of them does a bunch of cool shit with the controller. And here's the thing, I wouldn't even mind so much that Sackboy doesn't do any of the controller stuff. It just feels really unexplained. It's a fixed perspective platformer, and it very much feels like, and follow the one linear path there is, and oh, there's some collectibles. You don't know what they're about, but we should probably pick them up. They're all in a straight line. You pick them all up. Oh, 100 points, I guess. Have some points. He picks them all up. Okay, over here we go. It's very, very, very simple. It very much feels like it, more so than any Little Big Planet thing before, it feels like your 6-year-old's first platformer.
Remember when we gave you all of those opportunities to do whatever the fuck you want, including remaking Final Fantasy VII in Little Big Adventure?
Yeah.
How about this?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And I mean, this isn't necessarily bad, it's just not for me. But it is an incredibly simplistic platformer, and I think that's intentional, because the start of the game features a narration that I believe it's Dawn French who's narrating it. And it sounds like Dawn French reading a storybook to 4-year-olds in terms of the slightly patronising I'm going to be very slow and careful when I read these words. And we're going to say the words of the story, and here's the story. It's very that kind of, like, I'm reading children a storybook delivery. And then the levels are incredibly simplistic, and there is basically no... I had enemies that ran up to me, and I didn't touch the controller, and they, like, spent a couple of seconds, like, in contact with me and not doing me any harm.
Right.
Like, it seems incredibly forgiving to the point that I'm very early on in it, but right now it feels like there might not be anything in this for me. I played Astro Bot and loved every minute and was craving more. I booted this up and was like, because this was either going to go one of two ways. I was either going to go, I'm really craving more 3D platforming after Astro Bot. Here's another 3D platformer. I'll eat this all up. Or, this isn't as good as Astro Bot. I don't want to play this one. And I fell in the latter camp. I just sat playing this like, yeah, but you're not Astro Bot, are you?
You're not my real 3D platformer.
And here's the thing. If you gave me like a month, I'd probably play this and have a better opinion of it. But playing it so close after Astro Bot, I'm like, Astro Bot is just some of the most superb 3D platforming I've played in years.
Does it make any good use of the DualSense controller?
None that I have found so far.
Oh dear.
It just sort of, it doesn't really explain what's happening, and the world you're in doesn't really have any, like, explanation as to, like, why any of it would be the way it is. It's just, well, this is like this now, keep going. It feels...
Is it a full-price game?
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah. Just stick to Astro Bot, and if you finish Astro Bot and want more Astro Bot, start a new save and play Astro Bot again. Honestly, I would rather replay Astro Bot from the start than play more of Sackboy right now.
Yeah, but you're a reviewer, so get on with it!
Yeah, no, I'm gonna put more time into it, but, like, it's at the bottom of my put more time into it list. So I think
that's it first, folks.
Yeah, that's everything I have played that I can talk about. By the time you hear this, I have Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, which I'm excited to try out. Apparently, the motorcycle attack where you do revving, now you've got to, like, rev your triggers, and that seems kind of cool. Should I get my one other video game out the way?
Do it.
I played a game called Bright Memory on the Xbox. You saw me play this.
How much did you play end to end in about half an hour?
Yeah, so...
It's so disappointing.
Yeah, so... during a lot of the Xbox Series X reveal events, there have been trailers for something called Bright Memory Infinite, and they tout that it's made by a single indie developer, and the trailers look like the most ridiculously good game you've ever seen.
Colonial Marines.
Yeah. You do, like, running around shooting guns like it's a Modern Warfare game, then suddenly you got swords and you're fighting knights, and
then you're using a grappling hook to leap up to things and swing off the things.
Yeah. So... Bright Memory is, from what I can tell, was a tech demo released on PC a few years ago that was well received in terms of its visual fidelity, and basically was like, yeah, we're going to make a full game and it's definitely going to be like, it's going to be amazing. And Bright Memory is not all that amazing to actually play.
And it wasn't until you got to the end, it was like, that's the end of episode 1.
I was like, oh, we're done, are we? Yeah.
Is there an episode 2 included with this purchase? No.
No.
Okay.
Here's 40 minutes of your purchase gets you these 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like... First of all, the game explains absolutely nothing to you plot-wise. I played for 40 minutes and I don't understand what was happening. I was in a facility and I had to stop a teleporter, and then I didn't stop a teleporter and I got sucked away with some military men who were very bad. They kept referencing people and I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. And then it was suddenly over and I
neither knew nor cared why.
I neither knew nor cared. So it's... Basically, it wants to be Dark Souls with guns. And I will not deny, for a game made by a single person, it is a very pretty looking game. It is... The textures are very high quality, like, the effects are nice. It's a bit janky, but, like...
It reminds me of early Serious Sam's in some ways.
Yeah, it moves and behaves jankily, like, all of the facial animations and the talking animations are a bit
And just
ropey.
the way enemies appear, like...
Yeah.
Here I am in a contained arena space. Oh, now things are just coming out of the floor.
Yeah, like, I could show you lots of 15-second clips of this where you would go, that looks amazing, fucking best game I've ever seen. But it's like, yeah, but you want to see the 5 seconds that came directly after that. You have a sword that has like an energy meter, and you can't. You
can only swing so long before your stamina runs out.
Yeah, before your stamina runs out, and most of the boss fights are the bosses are very spongy, very literally bullet spongy.
Yes.
And like there was a boss fight with this cool person in like a big suit of armor in this weird ghostly world. All I did was back away from them, shooting them with my gun, and trying to stay far enough back that they only had melee attacks. It's just walk backwards, shooting you with gun, do some dodges backwards so I'm out of your range, shoot you with gun, walk backwards.
Yeah. And there doesn't seem to be anything else to that, because whenever you tried to use other tactics, like, I'll try and get a couple of swings in with my sword, it's like, no, that's it, you're dead now, bye.
Yeah, no, like the enemy like took infinity bullets to kill. And, like, if it hit me twice, I was dead. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna stay back here and shoot you with bullets, I guess. Every boss has, like, the fun phase of it, and then it goes on way too long, and then they have the phase where they summon in 15 additional small enemies, just because you are one person with one gun, and if you get swarmed by enemies, you won't be able to deal with it. Like, they make boss fights stronger just by throwing shit at you, not by making the boss itself interesting.
The Borderlands technique.
Yeah. But worse.
And then it was all over, and you were just like, New Game Plus? No.
I mean, look, conceptually, I get what they were going for. Good on you working on this. Maybe the full game will be more, but like, this 40 minutes was the most forgettable gaming experience I have had in years.
This kind of reminded me of, like, early 2010s games that, like, it was made by a single person.
We've discovered Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine has shaders that make our game look fancy.
And then getting some YouTuber to show it off in the most hype way they could, selling it to a bunch of kids and going, actually, there's almost no content and it'll probably never be finished anyway.
It's got that feel.
It reminded me a lot of, I think it's called Doorways. Which is
Yeah.
one of those Friday the 13th. There, you can be the killer or you can be one of the running away people.
It was 40 minutes of me backing away from things while shooting them.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it was over and I had no idea why I'd been there or why I would care to continue.
Yeah, because you loaded up New Game Plus and were like, no, I didn't miss anything. This really is
I
just
rewatched the intro and there was no plot, was there? It was, we've got to turn off the teleporter. Oh no, they stopped us turning off the teleporter. Oh, we got sucked.
Yeah, we're here and we're being attacked by...
We got to get to the glowing beacon for some reason.
We're being attacked by indigenous people?
Maybe.
Or something? And occasionally, like, soldiers or something?
Yeah.
Don't know.
It was a fever dream of a game.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look a damn thing like the fucking trailers.
Yeah. So what have you been?
We played some boarded games.
We played some boarded games, yeah.
Yeah. We played some more Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
Yeah. We had our first very difficult month.
We did have our first very difficult month.
We had 3 objectives and we completed one of them. And even then we didn't complete it as thoroughly as we would have liked.
No.
We've been vaguely referencing there's a mechanic in the game that we've been trying to not have be a mechanic in the game.
It is now a mechanic.
It is now just about a mechanic in the game. We've mitigated it.
Yes.
It's not going to be as bad as it could have been. It's only happening in one place, and we have a measure to counter it. But
yes,
it's in play now. We held it off for a while.
Yeah. I'm definitely still enjoying it. I am enjoying the story. I feel like this game is trying to do a lot in its final throes. Because we've got the missions where you will have to take all of a particular area, like, say, South America, out of the player deck to start with. Take those cards, shuffle the South America cards, and put one face down underneath the objective. And then you have to work out which card is face down under that objective and go there and do a thing. Usually with a team, which means that you've already built
a van to go there as well, which has required even more cards. Then you've got the missions where you might know multiple places, so you'll take, like, all of the Europe cards and deal 4 of them face up, and they'll go underneath that objective, and you've got to go and do things in all of those places. And then you've got the things where it's like, oh, go here and try and track down a person.
Yeah.
And then we've just got another mechanic, which is you will have to go off of the board.
Yes.
And you'll have to have the right type of cards in your hand, but you won't know what cards you need until you go to this place off of the board.
Yes.
And that counts as an action going there and another action leaving. So if you get there, go, I can't do anything this turn.
Yeah.
And come back to the main board going, oh, I'll try and do something. Oh, that's it. Well, you've already lost 2 actions. And at the end of your turn, you get kicked back to the main board anyway.
I'll say this, I've not minded the number of things going on because I've really enjoyed the variety of month to month. What kind of objectives do we have this month? Yeah. And every month has a very different mix of things to manage, which has kept it from feeling repetitive.
Agreed that it hasn't felt repetitive, but it also hasn't felt like you can settle in and start going, I know how to deal with these things. I understand, like,
possibly
what I'm doing with this.
Here's my feeling on it right now. I feel like I understand each of the things going on well enough to prioritise which ones should I focus on and which ones should I deprioritise. And I think that's been enough for me to be comfortable with it.
I feel like I understand the game as a whole well enough to say, we'll just ignore that, we'll get on, focus on that things, that is an absolute priority. But that feels more about what the story is about than the individual game elements themselves.
We've got a certain degree going on of, I don't know if you would call it metagaming, but of, here's what the story is doing, here's where we think we're extrapolating the story might be going. As such, let's prioritise these missions and downplay these missions based on our guesses about, like, well, that seems like a real threat, that seems like it's maybe not as much of a threat as we're being led to believe it is. I've been enjoying the, oh my god, there's chaos, scramble to fix at least one of these things.
Yeah.
It's a very different kind of pandemic legacy.
Very different. To answer a question that a lot of people were concerned with, I know have asked me about this as someone who has played all of them. It is not uncritical of the CIA. Because, like, a lot of people, I mean, we haven't really encountered much in the way of Soviet stuff so far. But, like, I think a lot of people were going, well, it's set during the Cold War, so I'm guessing it means America good, Soviet Union bad. And it does not mean that at all.
We've had characters that we were told not to like who've then gone, maybe you should be a bit more questioning of things. And we've had implied plots going on of, like, sure seems like that might have happened. It's certainly not uncritical, and we're playing it very critically.
Yes.
We're playing, and the game seems to be responding to that. The game is definitely built around, like, oh, we know that some people are going to be critical, and we will play with that a bit.
Yeah. Yup. Our personnel reports have been quite a thing.
Yeah, we keep getting, like, asked to tell the CIA how we feel about certain topics, and we're like, how much do we tell you?
Well, to be fair, like, every time we've done one of the psychological exams, we've sat there going, nope, none of that, nope, none of that. And then we've got our reviews back going, oh, now we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're getting in trouble because we're being honest, nice people, which is not what the CIA wants.
That's not what the CIA wants at all.
I don't think that's a spoiler to say the CIA doesn't want you to be honest, nice people.
No, they're looking for spies.
Yeah.
Not people who came into this world as medics, which is how the game opens.
Yeah. I definitely think this is the pandemic legacy to play last.
100%.
Even though it's season 0, play it last.
Like, definitely play it last because it really feels like the closer of the trilogy. Like, there has been mentions of things from other games. There are feelings that you will get about stuff related to the other games.
Yes.
Because whereas season 1 was very much, hey, here is pandemic with some extra stuff and some ongoing issues, and then big uncover plot. And then the second one was, what if the world had gone to hell?
Yeah.
And you had to deal with that, but there's something happening somewhere in the world. Without being too spoilery,
Yeah.
or at all spoilery, there is a big thing going on. It is located here,
Yes.
and then you sort of play 0 and go, well, that's that from 1, and that's that from 2.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not entirely sure who to trust or what to do, but I have a feeling that perhaps the one person here who is like...
And here's, again, part of why I think this should be played last and why I have not minded feeling a bit overwhelmed by it is Seasons 1 and 2, we walked pretty confidently.
Yeah.
Like, we very rarely had a month we had to repeat. We were very on top
We
of
didn't
things.
fail anyone.
Yeah, we sometimes had to do a month a second time, but we never had to
Yeah, we never
skip
failed
it.
anything entirely.
And I kind of was a little bit, with Season 1 and 2, a little bit like, oh, I'm actually a little disappointed. We're finding this a little too under control. We're a little too on top of things. I'm kind of enjoying the, oh god, shit's coming down everywhere, quick, what do we do?
Oh yeah, like, I agree that the thing that I'm finding a little bit weird is this whole partial success mechanic, whereby if you complete an objective, even an objective...
Yes.
That is enough to go, off you go then, next mission.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm proceeding, but I feel like I've missed a lot of the story.
Well, I'm curious to look at stuff afterwards and to see the things we didn't see and see what happens.
I'm curious to know how legible that's going to be.
Yeah.
Reading the debrief book is like reading an old fighting fantasy book, because it's just read paragraph number blah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'm very curious about this one.
Curious to know where it goes. Enjoying it.
Yeah.
Again, agree, definitely play it last, and not uncritical of the CIA. So I think now I've pretty much answered all of people's questions going into this one, because I know a lot of people had concerns.
Have you played anything else this week?
I've played a bunch more Scythe the Rise of Fenris.
Yeah, how long's that going?
What can I say?
You've continued to unbox surprising amounts of new content.
I have continued on unboxing surprising amount of new content,
and
the scale of some of that content has been intimidating.
That one box you ominously put on the board and then you opened it up and there was a whole ass thing in there.
Yep, and then there was a whole mechanic for that whole ass thing.
Yeah, and then there was a whole set of things to bolster up to go with that thing you'd found.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
It's been fascinating watching you play this from across the room. Like, why's that so big?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. They were just like, just put box C on the board at the beginning on the factory space, and put all these things to make it harder to get there, and then whoever gets there first gets to open the box. And then you open the box, it's like, oh god, why did I open the box? Ah!
Yeah, but you couldn't not open the box.
I couldn't not open the box, and I'll be honest, I've been playing one easy because I just wanted to have some fun while you were otherwise gaming.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's had its challenges. Probably not the most complex challenges.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see the content, and I wanted to do something while you were otherwise occupied.
You wanted to have a good time while I was face down in next gen consoles.
Yeah. So I have enjoyed everything so far. I've got 2 more chapters to finish off. I suspect I know exactly what's going to happen next. Not just because, obviously, I'm getting towards the end now. There's only so much punchboard left, and you have to pack it away at the end of the game, so it's hard not to have at least glanced at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this with other people, even the individual modules.
I'm looking forward to playing it with you at some point. I would have said maybe this weekend, but I've got books to sign.
That's just been written off.
Yeah. I've got 276 books to sign this weekend.
She does. So I've been going through that. I will continue going through that. I will report once I'm finished.
Yeah.
Probably at the end of this weekend, I would imagine.
Nice.
Apart from that, I played some game. I finished playing The Beast Within: A Gabriel Knight Mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished that in the sense of I got to the last chapter. I got most of the way through the last chapter. I was bored as fuck. Like, everyone on stream was like, you don't sound like you're enjoying yourself. You don't have to keep playing. And then I died and I was like, that fuck it. I'm done with this game. That is the canon ending. I don't know what I saw in this game 20 years ago when I first played it. But I will not be playing it any further. Good night. Good night, sir. So yeah, that was The Beast Within. It's boring. It is a lot of conversation that doesn't really lead anywhere. The mystery isn't all that mysterious. The CG in it is just awful, but understandably so, because it was of its time. And just the fact that you don't even properly get that it's a werewolf game for most of the game. Like, if you miss the opening sequence and aren't really paying attention to there was a whole thing at the beginning where I took a cast of a wolf paw print and it was too big to be a wolf paw print, and I found some fur that wasn't quite wolf fur. Like, yeah, I get it, it's probably werewolves, but the rest of the game isn't that, like, oh, intense mystery. It just didn't really care much. But anyway, that's that. And I think that's that. So then,
Time for this. Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring.
hello?
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring.
Ring, ring, ring?
Ring, 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 ring.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Sorry, I'm real tired. I'm just phoning it in.
No.
Hello YouTube, it's me, Angry Gamer 642. And I'm making a video. I'm very angry at Electronic Arts Softworks this week. They've got a new video game, and it's got women in it. I know. How dare they? That's not me in the video game. That's a woman. I demand a response from Electronic Arts Softworks. Why didn't you put a man in the game? It's a woman. Why? Men. Yours sincerely, Angry Gamer Dude 642.
Women buy video games, like a lot of video games. So we're just fucking geniuses.
Yeah, we ain't turning down those markets. We're
No.
fucking geniuses.
Money.
Fuck, you're a gamer, bro.
You're still gonna buy our game. You're gonna bitch about it, but you already bought it, so
Yeah.
we are some fucking geniuses.
We know. So, what have you put in your eyes this week?
My eye meets
Yeah.
very little.
Same. I've not looked at or listened to much this week.
You've been tied to a PlayStation.
I've been tied to a PlayStation.
It's usually my job.
Maybe they'll let me let go of it soon. Go away, PlayStation.
Put it down.
What have you looked at?
We watched the new episode of Discovery.
Yep.
I've had some feelings about that.
Yeah. There was that whole conversation about work-life balance in there.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about work-life balance.
It was very sweet.
Yeah.
We had a real good exploration of the Trill
Yes.
that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
We had some non-cis people playing non-cis roles.
I
is my
didn't know all
understanding.
of them were non-cis, but then...
apparently the both non-cis types.
someone mentioned someone who was a much bigger Trek, like actually follows all the outside stuff and then usually updates and was like, "Oh my god, did you see all the representation?"
Yeah.
No. I mean, one of them had blue hair. That was cool.
Yeah, those two characters had a real lovely arc that I'm real interested in where that's going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm real fascinated by the whole Trill thing they brought up in this. Was real interesting.
Yeah, we got some interesting new Trill.
We got some visualization of how certain things with the Trill work, which was really cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah, and we
We had a whole real "don't resist your trip" thing to it.
Oh yeah, it was like you've just got to let it take you, even if you don't want to see the thing it wants to show you.
Mm-hmm.
And we are both on team. This thing should happen to this character.
Mm-hmm. Good things.
Yeah. It was a real good episode.
Yes.
So much good, like, subtle emotional acting from everyone this
Oh
episode.
god, yes.
There's
There was more emotions than a David Cage game.
Yeah, there was a scene where they got lots of characters in a room who all had emotions and let them do emotions, and they did very talented emotions.
They did. It was like
Oh,
Christmas dinner.
that slightly terrifying haiku
Yup.
was very powerfully performed.
Yup. That is very much someone who is struggling with a lot of things.
Yeah. It's been real interesting watching that episode, particularly in this year.
Lots of people stuck in a situation
With
temperatures are high.
a lot of pent up anxiety and not much they can do about it. Did you look at anything else this week?
Did I look at anything else?
You watched. You looked at Lumberjanes.
I looked at Lumberjanes. I read Lumberjanes Volume 15, Birthday Smarty.
Oh,
It's a very sweet volume about it's Joe's birthday,
oh.
and she doesn't really want to celebrate it. And April is very excited because she has always celebrated Joe's birthday and always tried to make every birthday more exciting than the last. And Joe is just like, I want to do a thing where I am stranded far away from any possible birthday stuff, and no one can get to me, and I don't have to think about it. And meanwhile, lots of cool stuff is happening with lots of returning characters. From previous episode, we get to see the Selkies and the Yetis and Seafaring Karen. Lots of good things. I won't tell you what that's all about, but yeah, it's good wholesome Lumberjanes fun.
It continues to be good, wholesome fun.
Ripley gets to do something very fun,
Yay!
which is very Ripley. I think Ripley's still my favourite character.
Ripley's great.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one other thing I put in my eyes this week. I put this in my eyes.
Oh heck, that's a book that you're holding there.
I have the first 12 copies of Things I Learned from Mario's Butt.
Actual printed hardback copies and not just these paper
It's
versions.
like a real ass book.
It is a real ass
Yeah,
book.
the paper quality. Feel that first page.
Ooh.
That's good paper stock in there.
That's a lot of GSMs, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's that high grade paper.
High
If the
grade.
truth be told, I'm a sucker for that high grade paper. If the truth be told, I am so excited for this book to get out to people. As we mentioned before, I have signings to do. I can't say the exact date. I don't think that they're being shipped from the warehouse, but at the time of recording this, on the 10th of November, we are less than a month from them leaving the warehouse to go to people who backed the book.
Theoretically.
All
All things being well.
Assuming that nothing goes wrong, we are less than a month from them leaving the warehouse and making their way to people.
Yes, and we have 170-something books turning up.
I have 276,
Sorry, 270.
276 showing up on Friday, which I have to sign and then return. And then they're going to send a bunch more which need to be signed and have butt doodles in them.
Boodles, if you will.
Then I think there is a third batch of signing ones at some point. So in the next month, I have to sign and return a lot of books.
I still think it's silly that you're going to have to sign mine and send it back.
I know,
And
but
then it's going to come back here.
I know.
I know
but-
why, but...
Yeah, it's going to be very silly when I sign one and then can't just hand it to you. I'm like, nope.
Look at it. No, you can't have it. Back in the post.
Yes, because normally the situation would be I'd go to the publisher's offices
Yeah.
to sign them all, but they're closed because COVID.
So you are the publisher's office.
Yeah, our small little flat is just going to be full of books.
We're going to look like the horrifying 3D view of that house with all the porn and video games. But just copies of Mario's butt.
Yeah, I'm going to make a throne of them.
Corridors of Mario's butt.
Yeah, so as long as we can get them inside the house, we'll be fine. I'm glad that these are all in good condition because the box was left outside in the rain, which is not
Someone
ideal.
left the box out in the rain.
It looks so good.
I know, I'm very excited to get my hands on a
All of
copy.
this art looks so good. I'm so happy with how it's turned out.
It's very good art.
I know this is a very self-serving section of the podcast, but
It's got a good book smell too.
It has good book smell. Look forward to the book smell, everyone. It's got
book
good
smell.
book smell.
Enjoy the fact we're a non-smoking household as well. So.
Indeed. It's got very good book smell. The art, the print quality of the art is fantastic, and I'm just real happy it exists finally. Currently, I've got 12 copies. I am sending 11 of them off into the world this week to various people who contributed words to the book, and just. It's a real thing. After 2 years, it's finally going to get into people's hands. It's been almost exactly 2 years since I started crowdfunding that book.
Wow.
The way it's worked out is it's going to be... I got my copies about almost exactly 2 years after crowdfunding started, and everyone will receive their copies almost exactly 2 years after crowdfunding passed the 100% threshold.
Oh, heck.
Sorry it took so long. Legal stuff on a book like this is... Wild. There was a whole year in the middle where it was just legal stuff.
Can we do this?
Can we do this? Can we get away with this? Yeah,
You can, but you'll have to move it slightly to the
the
left.
sheer number of meetings about how much
How much of Mario?
how clearly could we make the cover Mario's butt or not? Yeah, we
you
can
had
have
to remove a lot of dungaree, I seem to recall.
Yeah, it's,
that picture used to be a lot further zoomed out, I seem to recall.
Oh yeah. Like it is the front cover is the ass of some blue denim. But there is nothing. That could be any Mario. Mario
from
my friend
Brooklyn.
Mario from the pub.
Yeah,
Yeah, things I learned from his butt. Yeah,
because he talks out of his arse.
there was a lot of back and forth about a lot of things. One day I will tell everyone about the pieces of art that didn't make the book.
I've seen some of them.
Yeah, there's a very good I'll tell you, there's a very good Spider-Man arse that we didn't use. Actually, they're two different Spider-Man arses we didn't use. They're both very good. Yeah, Marvel and DC,
Litigious.
They still got words about them, but just...
Litigious.
Yeah, litigious. Did you play anything else in your eyes this week?
Only edits of AA.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes of Pianote on YouTube.
Yeah.
They do good piano tutorials.
Yeah.
And since I'm trying to learn piano, I started playing in G major this week. Ooh. Step up from just playing everything in C. Ooh. There's only one sharp. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
Well then,
It's time for this.
Laura, got any sponsor?
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you like consensual touchings?
I do like consensual touch-ins.
Would you like to do like consensual touchings? Maybe like lying down, just nice.
Or just a nice snuggle.
Just a
Yeah,
nice
consensual cuddle. You know, lying down.
What if maybe blankie?
Oh, that does sound very snug.
What if maybe naked under a blankie?
Naked under blankie doing cuddly snugs.
This week's sponsor is the concept of naked snuggles.
Oh wow, that's a good sponsor. It's been a while since we've had a
we've got a
sponsor.
good one.
We've got a good one
We
this
got
week.
a good one. Yeah.
Oh.
So if you just want to have like a consensual, just naked cud,
Yeah,
just like with feeling of skin on skin,
just
good nice contact,
just having a nice hug.
just hugs, or maybe little handholds,
Yeah, just
or
nice,
maybe like nuzzling into the
nice
neck
little,
meats.
just nice little wholesome time.
Just a wholesome time. Just a lovely time. Just head on over to lovelynakedcuddles.lol.net and enter the code QNPS 143. I think
Maybe.
probably. And you too can get 100% off all of your cuddles, all of your naked cuddles consensual.
Is that 100% of the clothes off?
Hey. Oh, I mean, if that's what you want to, you are not pressured to do so.
Yeah.
But they are naked cuds, so I mean, that's probably what you're shopping for if you're on the Naked Cuddle website. Oh, there you go, a nice one.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
Inside the boardroom of Electronic Active Softworks.
Hi. So, consoles are, finally out. We got them out. Got them managed to get them on sale somehow this year.
Yeah.
I do have a concern, though.
Yeah.
You know how we released our console without any games? Like, we didn't have...
I mean, we really whipped a lot of people very hard.
Yeah, our game's coming out in a few months.
Yeah.
But, we released it with no games.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was going to be a problem, but
People have the gaming season pass.
yeah, but I had to look at what the other lot are doing. I
Yeah,
finally had time
yeah.
to check out what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've got games on their box.
But like up-resed old games.
No, they have new games. Like they have like more than one new game on the box.
Yeah, that's the third party, right?
No, they've got like 4 first-party games on the box.
4.
Yeah, they got a platformy one. They got a superhero one. They got a real tough fighty one. They got another 3D. They got 2 3D platformers.
Yeah, but we're no longer just about video games. We're a whole entertainment center for the living room.
yeah, we kind of did away with that and made our messaging how we were just gonna be video games.
Right.
Like we did away with the whole like you could watch your TV through us, and are we in trouble? Are we not fucking geniuses?
I'm sure it was one of the interns.
Ah, the interns.
The intern messed this up.
The intern messed this up. We're fucking geniuses.
We're fucking geniuses. I'll tell you what. We will sack a whole bunch of people. All the people we use to help us market the console coming to launch.
Yeah.
We'll sack all of those people, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll announce huge profits, huge bonuses, and the stockholders will be super pleased with us.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you put in your ears this week?
Oh, not a lot.
Not a lot here either.
I've caught up on some podcasts.
Yeah. Any
yeah.
particular ones you want to tell us about?
Magnus Archives, wonderful as always. That was it. Have you not heard it yet?
I'm behind on it.
Oh, it's a very special episode.
A very special episode?
A very special episode.
Okay.
Without being spoiled. Do you remember how the episode before ended?
Oh, I'm a couple of episodes
Oh,
behind.
okay.
Yeah.
Then I will not tell you anything about this.
I have fallen a bit behind because I don't have the... It's a podcast I have to focus on, and I haven't had brain room to focus for a few weeks.
The
last one I remember was the hospital where the insides were being rearranged and replaced with broken wrong things.
I can't say anything.
Yeah,
it's a special episode narrated by somebody different than usual, especially for this series. So it's been a nice one.
Yeah,
and I am curious to know what happens because I think we're about to go on another hiatus.
Ooh,
because the series doesn't end until I think April next year.
Yeah,
which will bring it almost exactly to 5 years of broadcast. So yeah, I'm excited to hear how this series ends. Got some theories. Got some theories about stuff.
I will try and catch up at some point. Maybe that'll be something to listen to while I'm signing endless books.
Just don't accidentally write horrifying things in the books. What else?
I just write in the front of one of the books.
The Archivist. Signed The Archivist. Oh no, shit. Cross. I'll draw. It was a butt archive, yes. Can't remember what I was going to say. Way!
Podcasts you were listening to.
I listened to some podcasts.
Yeah.
I made a new track.
Yeah, you did. It was real good.
It's called Blue on a Motorcycle.
Yeah, it's very synthwave. Is that
sort of synthwavey 80s vibe? Synthes electronica.
Yeah, sort of driving your neon motorcycle into the orange and blue sunset kind of vibes.
Very specifically your neon blue motorcycle into the neon sunset. That's on my SoundCloud, my bedroom programmer SoundCloud. All my music is under bedroom programmer. Enjoy that. Yeah. If you will.
I will.
I've also listened to a bunch of mixes on the YouTube Fluidified channel. Lots of like chill step, chill beats style stuff. Because I've not really had much brain this week.
Yeah, I listened to one thing this week that had any brain, which was Sunday night. I was feeling like unwell from how much video game I'd been doing.
She overgamed.
Yeah, so I just closed my eyes and listened to an episode of The Empty Bowl. I remember none of it. It's that podcast about cereal. I remember having a pleasant time. I could not tell you anything about it. I think at some point some listener called in, talked about a hypothetical Twin Peaks serial.
Yes.
Or a David Lynch serial.
I think it's specifically a Twin Peaks one.
Yeah. That's
Coffee
the
and cherry pie or something.
yeah, that's the only thing that stuck in my head from that whole episode, and it was great.
It was a very soothing episode. They talked about cinner dust and
Oh
cinner
yeah,
milk.
they did talk about those things.
I was playing Scythe.
Yeah, I was barely awake, just soaking in some calming voices. Other than that, it's just been chill lo-fi beats to study to, because I can't cope with anything with words in it right now.
That's fair.
Because I've got to get the words out of my head, and I can't put new words in my head until these ones are out. There's no room.
Nope.
Too many words up here.
Too many words.
That's my whole week. I'll get back to listening to and watching things soon.
Oh, heck.
Soon.
Soon.
PS5's good, though.
It's good.
It's good game box.
It's good game box.
You listen to anything else?
That is everything we've listened to.
Well then, time for this.
So, for this Unicorn Dance Party Festival season, we will be announcing a new vegan festive food range. We've got a lovely mushroom Wellington. We have a number of tofu wieners in like a fake bacon, so like a real pig in blanket looking thing. That's very nice. We've got a whole selection
Objection!
of
Objection!
what's
Objection!
wrong?
It's, we are here from the milk industry.
Well, this is a vegan special festive meal.
Oh, yes, we understand, but we are here because we saw some of the things that are in your new festive range, and we noticed a suspicious lack of whey powder.
Well, yes, it's vegan, it's not vegetarian.
Yes, but everything tastes better with powdered milk somewhere in it.
Beg to differ.
Don't...
Especially when people can't taste it at all because they won't eat anything with milk in.
But, when they put whey powder in Jammy Dodgers, when that happened, they put new improved flavour on it. It improved the flavour.
Yes, and then when they took it out, they said no more nasties.
Don't you mean no more...
Milk. No more
Tasties! No more tasties! It was a typo.
On thousands and thousands
Yes.
of packets of jelly.
Yes!
You make nothing better. You've just convinced everyone they need milk powder.
We're a binding agent?
Are you a binding agent?
Yes!
Or are you a lubricant of sorts?
Both.
Pizza crust doesn't need you.
Put us in everything!
No!
Clocking off for the day.
Yeah, all done.
Nice. You, leave any on the doorstep?
Oh, I left a couple on the doorstep.
Let's go on the doorstep. Left one at the bottom of the drive.
Oh, I left one, bottom of the drive around the corner.
Oh, nice one. I left one with a shop right down the road and said I left it at reception.
Oh, I left one, in the centre of town at a post office. Didn't tell them which post office.
I left one at the depot.
Oh.
Didn't even pick it up with me, but managed to rappel down from the roof.
Oh yeah.
And just very carefully slip a "you were not in when I called" card through the door.
I left one at the sender's home address. I drove it back towards Post 9.
Nice.
Left it right where it came from.
I actually sent one to a small island off of Bolivia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just off of Bolivia, and then I used a specially designed sniper rifle to fire a while you were out card through their letterbox from about 20 miles away.
I snuck one of them spaceships going up to the International Space Station. Snuck it on there, and I got the sorry you were not home slip, and I used teleporter technology, just phased it into their home.
You are so good at this. I guess you win this one. I'll buy you a pint.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, indeed. We'll work something out.
Do you know what I want to see more of.
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors.
Yeah.
All right, Harry.
All right, Barry. How you doing?
Oh, tired. This second lockdown's really, really knocking me about a bit, I'll be honest.
Yeah. It's been a very work-heavy plus suddenly lockdown again. And it's a
Yeah.
lot happening at once.
Yeah.
Weather changing hasn't helped either.
No, it's been very foggy of late.
Yeah. And neither has the politics. Politics has
No.
been a lot.
Yeah. I mean, people are saying we've got a lot to be happy about right now, but it does feel, firstly, that we're 20 minutes from the end of the film, and they say they've killed the bad guy, but
Yeah,
still
the
gonna be there for a
bad guy
while
still
yet.
seems to be scheming some kind of last-minute plot.
yeah. So I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah.
celebrate too heavily yet, but
Yeah.
small mercies and
You got to take the mercies where you can, but
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people doing the whole, with the American election, people going, oh, well, now Biden's in charge and, you got rid of Trump. Trump people probably having a bad time.
It certainly seems like a lot of them
You
are
should-
having a
you
very
should-
bad time.
Yeah, you should be nice to them. You should meet them in the middle. You should go be friendly to them now that you're the team in charge. It's the thing you see all the time, which is the expectation that left-leaning people should, the expectations on them to follow the high road and to be nice to the other side.
No, that's why we punch Nazis.
That is why we punch Nazis. Yeah, it's.
I mean, because at this point, even the leftist party is still pretty right wing.
Oh, the leftist party is it's centrist drifting towards the right.
I would argue that it's sort of centre right already.
I mean, yeah, very much so. And this is the thing. It's this expectation of taking the high road. It's this whole thing of, oh well, you shouldn't, you shouldn't be visibly joyful about winning. You should be feel sorry for the people who lost. It's like, no, people on the right, on the political right, have spent years literally making their entire thing, ha ha ha, we're taking away your rights. Isn't it funny that you feel sad about that, snowflakes?
Yeah, we've had politicians saying, oh, it's about making things more upsetting and distressing for the left. Hang on, so it's not about foreign policy. It's not about the way you're treating certain people. It's literally about upsetting the left wing.
Yeah.
That's how you're choosing to run your country, is
Exactly.
it?
And there's this whole thing of so often the burden is placed on people who have been directly impacted by horrible policies politically to be like, well, now your team's winning, you should be nice. It's like, no,
You don't.
No.
Just because you've escaped from your abuser and you're now in a better position doesn't mean you have to apologise to them.
Yeah, you don't.
We are talking about the same people who would regularly turn up in public spaces wearing shirts saying things like journalist rope tree, some assembly required.
Oh god, yeah, and that's the thing. It's this whole idea of it's your obligation now to go find the people that voted for the other side, and talk to them and try and understand their perspective. It's like, no, their perspective is not based in facts. Their perspective is based in, I don't like you as a group of people.
Yeah.
I think it would be better if you were gone. That's not a side you can go debate with.
No, and I think if you look at how people voted in America this time anyway, it proves that the answer was never reach across the aisle. The answer was find the disenfranchised people and convince them to do something for the
God.
sake of good.
Every
better than what
every
we've got.
properly left-wing ballot measure that was passed during this election got through. All of the people who ran on properly lefty platforms remained in office.
Yep.
We have seen firsts for a lot of groups getting into political office.
Yeah.
The places where losses were made by the Democrats in America were very specifically where they tried to play centrist.
Yeah.
It did not work for
No.
them. Ugh.
It's don't get me wrong. It was never about Biden winning. It was about defeating Trump, and I'm very glad we did that. That's what the celebration was about. But there is no reason to now go, first of all, that we have to be like, yay, Biden, everything about him is good.
Exactly, and
also, no, we don't have to reach across the aisle. What we have to do is keep the people who were disenfranchised that voted this time convinced that they do have power, and that using that power, hopefully we can, piece by piece, hopefully America can, the US can drag piece by piece further towards the left. To all of the things that, like, there was that thing on Fox News where they were talking about what policies people actually would blind vote for, and they were incredibly left-leaning.
Oh god, yeah. Fox News did a poll, and like 75% plus on all of the responses were like, oh, the left-leaning thing is what Fox News viewers would want.
But that's not what most of them would vote for.
No, because they've been convinced that they have a team and they support their team. And
it is very much about tribalism in a very frightening manner.
And just because Democrats have got into power does not mean that suddenly left-leaning people need to go nicely befriend the Nazis.
Absolutely not.
Go have nice conversations and just make nice with the Nazis. No, tell them to fuck off.
Don't get me wrong, it has been shown that sometimes there are a few people within those groups who have found themselves to go, actually, this isn't where I feel I should be anymore. It is for them to take the step towards the left to seek help escaping.
Part is that, and part, it should not be on the minority people on the left who have to be the ones reaching over. There may have to be some reaching over done. It should probably be the cis straight white men on the Democratic side who should be, because they're the ones who'll get listened to.
Yeah, remember, keep your feet firmly planted and don't get dragged over there though.
Yeah, that is a concern.
Yeah. Virtual luck, mate.
Virtual luck.
Same, mate. Same.
Yeah.
Right, I think I'm going to head to bed, mate.
Oh, I got some work to do, but I'll get there eventually.
Well, sleep well when you get there, mate.
You too.
So, Laura.
Yes?
Where can we find you on the internet, darling?
Laura K. Buzz in all the places. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon. That's the one that pays the bills. If you can support me for as little as $1 a month on Patreon, that allows me to keep doing this as a full-time thing. Doing many work. And paying Jane for work as well.
I get paid. That's why I work extra days.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to do 2 this week.
Yeah, you thought 75 hours a week was bad. Let's crank that up a little further.
Everything I publish ends up on laurakbuzz.com, be it written articles, freelance features, videos, podcasts, etc. I Twitch stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at twitch.tv/laurakbuzz. I publish episodes of Accessibility, theoretically every Friday. The last few weeks have been a bit topsy-turvy, but every Friday on YouTube at youtube.com/laurakbuzz.
Wait, am I going to have to edit another one for Friday as well?
No. We've had 2 this week already. We don't need more this week. A week Friday we'll do another. We'll get back to a regular schedule next week.
Not as far regularly scheduled accessibility.
Yeah, there was too much to talk about, and it all happened too fast because consoles. But theoretically every Friday. There's books. Uncomfortable Labels. It's out now. It's about being an autistic trans person, and it's available as a book or as an audiobook on laurakbuzzstore.com. There's Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, which is here.
Real book.
It's a real book. It's happening February 4th, 2021, or earlier if you backed it on Unbound. I'm pretty confident most people will get their copies before Christmas. So, Christmas this year, open up the new book smell and sit in front of the fireplace and tell your family all about educational butts.
Educational butts.
Yeah.
Spicing all of the pumpkins.
Exactly. And then there's Gender Euphoria, which is an anthology of non-cis people's just positive gender-affirming nice stories. And that's coming out in June of 2021. Also, there's podcasts. Pixel Square, it's about video game character pornography. There's Podquisition, where we tell you whether your favourite video games are great or perfect. There is Dice Funk, which is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Every season's a self-contained story. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I think I can say this, I'm going to be on season 8 when it happens.
It's too late now.
Characters being made, it's happening. I'm also on a podcast with you that isn't this one.
It's another 5th edition Real Play podcast with questionable morals this time. It's polyamory.
It's polyamory.
Yeah, we just got to the bottom of another one of my glorious puns.
Was this the chip-related one?
This is the potato-related pun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's all that going on. Enjoy that over on my SoundCloud. It's also on my YouTube. We've got Queer and Pleasant Skitisodes. If you
Yeah.
like really old episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers but don't care about what we had as news, but instead just want to hear about the silly jokes we made, you can just listen to like a 15-20 minute Skitisode. And
Just us being
all,
very silly for 15-20 minutes.
all of the jokes from like 3 years ago when we started doing this nonsense.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Yeah, I've got a Twitch.
Yeah.
I twitch on a
Thursday?
I twitch a lot.
You Twitch stream.
I Twitch stream on a Thursday night about 7:45 UK time.
Yeah.
I have t-shirts on my Redbubble. I have my own Patreon. It's patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a this week 80-hour work week.
You should support Jane on Patreon. She's the reason why there's 2 accessibilities this week.
Imagine a world in which I had to do less day job and more editing.
Yeah. Imagine such a world.
Imagine a work-life balance.
Yeah.
If that's not too Star Trek.
Imagine
for you.
such a thing.
Imagine such a thing. Yeah, or if you want early access to Queer and Pleasant Strangers, you can get that. That usually goes up on like a Wednesday night or even a Thursday morning most of the time, unless there's an embargo on whatever we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, for as little as $10 a month, you can get early access to Quirps. All of my links can be found at streamerlinks.com/Janiac. That's JANEIAC. I've got a Twitter. That's on there too. Laura, darling, will you sing us out?
Until next time, be a stranger.